Hey guys, Michael Kunica here, National Fitness Manager for Fitness First Australia. Welcome to our band workout today. We've got the lovely Amy, who I think some of you met from some of our earlier workouts. And I know she's super excited to get into our session today. We're going to be doing 4 exercises after our warm-up, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. Our recommendation is to complete that 4 times. We're only going to record 1 though, so if you want to go back to the start and redo it, totally up to you, but we do recommend working through this 4 times. Ideally for this workout, you will need 1 band. If you've got a couple more, we're going to be able to introduce those as well, but you will need 1 band to complete this workout. Without further ado, let's rock and roll. Amy's going to start with the crab walk exercise. So a lot of you will be familiar with this. Great exercise to do with the bands. You sit down, soften the knees, and you crawl your way around the room, so to speak. So we're just going laterally here. We're going to get her to do 2 times back and forth, You can walk forward and backwards. You can mix this up a little bit. But just for today, we're going to do a lateral crab walk. Really fires up the glutes and the quads a little bit, but just starts to elevate the heart rate. Guys, if you need anything else to get prepared for today's workout, please include it and get to it now. But just in terms of keeping the session flowing, we're going to get into our first exercise. So you will need something to attach your band to, something solid. A fence is great, or a door jamb, or something that you can loop it around. So you've noticed Amy's just looped that around our storage unit there. This exercise is a little bit different. We know a lot of you have probably been getting the push-ups in, and that's great, but we want to give some variety, particularly with that pressing pattern. So Amy's going to position her right arm at right angles, so right angle there at the elbow, isometrically hold that position and then press out with her left hand. So she's doing a couple of things here. She's working a pressing pattern standing, vertical, which is quite cool, a little bit different to press-ups. But she's also holding an isometric on the other arm or the other shoulder as well. So we're sort of getting a bit more bang for our buck in this exercise. We're going to repeat this for about 40 seconds, and then we're going to quickly shift to the other side. So unfortunately at that moment, you'll see the back of Amy, but you'll also see some really nice definition there, which might inspire you to keep going with your training. So Amy, how about we flip onto the other side? Exactly the same position here, guys. We hold an isometric now in that left hand, and you'll see her pressing away with her right hand. Guys, Amy's obviously very well trained. She's making this look pretty easy. This is a pretty tricky exercise, and you won't need a lot of band tension on this one either. And of course, if you're feeling any issues or injuries, if it doesn't feel right, then absolutely maybe skip this exercise. If your press-ups are going well, you might want to shift back down to those. Let's go for another 5 seconds or so, and we'll get into our second movement. As I said, great exercise for the upper body, shoulder stabilisation, and that pressing pattern as well. So our next exercise, we flirted with this one in one of our previous workouts. And it's a variation of a Pallof press. Pallof press is great for resisting rotation and one of the key things that the abdominals and the core and the lower back has to do. So we're going to hold the hands out for this exercise, and I'm going to get Amy to work through her squat pattern. Guys, again, Amy's really well trained. She's got great depth in that squat. If you can't quite get into that depth or get into that position, you just work to where your body feels comfortable. If you can get down that low, considering there's no load through your spine, there's no loading through the spine like on a back squat, we encourage you to work through a full range of motion. And you'll see she's locked out there. Some Pallof press variations allow for pressing, but we've got her locked out there, resisting the rotation of that band. We'll get 1 more rep, about 40 seconds, and then we're going to change sides. We're going to do both sides here too, guys. So I might get you just to wiggle back a little bit, Amy, so the guys can see. Beautiful. And we're going to squat down, and we're resisting the pull of that resistance band. Ideally, if we can have those knees tracking in line with the toes, it's a nice pattern to work through. Not so important when we're not under a huge amount of load, but as we start to load the squat pattern, we absolutely want to have good alignment in the lower body. So working through a few more reps, like I said, about 40 seconds. Guys, we've got to do both sides or else we're going to end up walking around in circles, so we've got to make sure of that. We'll go 2 more reps and we'll go on to our third exercise. And you can see she's looking really good there. So we're going to face our anchor point now. So the position where the band is anchored, we're going to face that. Really hard to work the rowing or the pulling muscles without any equipment. We've got the band today, so we're going to work that pulling motion. So you're going to pop the palms up in this position. We're going to externally rotate the arms, trying to get us out of this position. If you've been working at home on the computer, driving, etc., we're going to open the body up. Open the thumbs up, and we're going to pull the elbows back towards the body. Really nice. And then under control, let it come back out. How far you stand away from the anchor point is relative to the resistance band you've got. So this one's relatively light, so Amy can get a fair way away from that anchor point. You may need to go a little bit closer. The other thing to have a think about on this movement is as you pull back, we're actually going to provide a little bit of external or movement away from the body, create a little bit of tension there, just to increase the bang for your buck on this exercise in the upper back and in that little squeeze at the top of the movement. Good, so she's looking really there. We'll do a couple more reps. Pull in, a little bit of tension on the out or pulling out. We're going to finish off with one rep. We're going to hit our fourth exercise. Beautiful. So our fourth exercise, a lot of you are familiar with this, a variation of the bridge or a hip extension, commonly done with bands across the thighs. Guys, that's great. If you've got another band, feel free to add it there. That way we can add that little bit of external rotation of the legs. But what we're going to do in today's workout is we're going to pop it under the feet and then put that as resistance just at the bottom of the thighs. So now I've got resistance working in this direction. As I said, if you want to add a band around the thighs, you can do that as well. And we're going to work through our extension pattern. Something to think about as well. A lot of people ask, what sort of bands do I buy? Do I thick, small, light, heavy? Personally, I'd recommend buying more of the lighter variations. The reason being is if you've got a really thick, heavy band, there's some exercises that just won't work. So that row pattern, for example, is quite difficult if you've got a really thick band. But if you've got a couple of lighter ones, you can always add bands. So if we want to create a little bit more tension in the row or in the hip extension, we can add a second band for a little bit more resistance. It's hard to go the other way though. Let's go the last few reps here. Let's go 2 more reps. And we've just about done our workout for today. Beautiful. Let's relax there. Guys, that's a really quick band workout, 5-6 minutes maybe, including the warm-up. We do recommend you repeat that. Our goal would be to repeat it for 4 times if you can. As I said, you'll need something sturdy to anchor to, and you will need a resistance band, but a great full body workout. Let us know what you think about the session. Drop some comments or some notes, and we look forward to seeing you in our next workout.